But it has the technicalities of taking the territories, holding them, having the timers of, when they could be attacked, conflict times, deployment, all that kind of stuff in its own
And
different
all of
way,
that
as well
information
as
should be
resources.
publicly visible.
And it completely is.
You
It
should
completely is.
you should have
Everybody knows how the system works, but of course there are the little, bugs and intricacies, or if I don't even know if I'm saying that right, where if you participate in it actively, then you of course will have a little bit of an upper hand, right? So they'll know what's meta, right? And they might even share it online, but most people won't see that. But the general idea of deploy this, build that, do this, do X, you get Y if you win, right? So it's absolutely there. And something that actually was very interesting was you took a territory, and in most games, you want to kick people out of your territory. It's your territory. That's just evolution in a way, right? You take something that's yours, you don't share it.
Yeah.
Now, especially if you're getting taxed. However, in Last Oasis, it is supported that you as an individual come to us as a large mega clan and you grind in our areas because it gives us 10% tax. But it's actually not taking 10% taxes from the individual. It's just a duped 10%.
Yeah, that's the solution that I talked about in the 2017 document. I said instead of just taxing the player, what if it just matched a certain percentage of whatever dropped for that player?
Mm-hmm. So that's actually a way that Last Oasis is doing it. However, and you know what? That's perfectly fine. It helps. The amount of resources that they're obtaining can easily cover their deployment, expenses and stuff, but it will not cover everything. Remember, they have to take wars on all fronts. They need to move resources. There's a cap on how much they can obtain, of course. It's a box that will fill up with resources. There's only so many slots, and somebody would have to come and retrieve it and then transport it, right? So there's this whole logistics of resources, which we touched upon with transferring events, but that was scrapped because we just couldn't really figure a way to get that in. So I mean, we can get that out. However, I was going through this tax thing again, and the DE Momau guy, he said the more hold on, where is it? Modern solution, something. Says the more Rails and Alliance controls and taxes, the harder it will be to get rid of them because they can funnel all their bloody money to wherever they are under attack. So, I still do think there's a need for that because, that does have some, value there. And then we could possibly even, remove the whole thing of, all the grind down. Essentially, we can bring it down because there'll be less resource circulation. And, the whole pooling of resources as well. I think we tackled that with a lot of grind, which I guess is one solution, but perhaps we can build upon that in later iterations. So I think what we have is okay. I just wanted to mention that.
We also talked about
Uh,
some resources decaying over time.
yeah, something like that would be great. In some cases, but I think just decaying. I mean, some of them maybe, yeah, that's fine, but like, I think we can do better than just say that it just deletes itself.
Okay.
So I'm moving down what we attempt to resolve. I kind of made that a little bit more comprehensive, just giving it a couple, like a sentence really, just one couple, just point form. I touched up our objective mission statement to be a little bit more better.
I forgot to highlight everything last night. Look,
Don't worry.
man. It gets serious when you're playing Smite with the bros and we go into competitive joust. Shit gets serious.
Yeah, dude, don't worry. I've already highlighted a lot of stuff. Like, I already do that, right?
I
I
was
did
up to
notice that
6
something was
a.m.
highlighted
playing ranked
saying
joust.
any ability modifiers, such as like overextended, should be banned for balancing reason. We can talk about that when we get there. I'm just going down, unless you want to talk about it now, I'm just going down the whole document because someone has to do it anyways and just editing it, making sure it's readable and
I love you,
whatnot.
Storm.
And I mean, like, this is going to take hours to do because, like, I'm only on like page 4 out of 20, and I've been here for an hour.
All right.
So, I mean, if we want to, but something. Oh, and something else that should also be mentioned about the Last Oasis. They do call it tax. It's 10% tax, and it necessarily isn't tax because it's not taking, money or resources. It's just duping it, right? It's just taking 10% and just putting it somewhere else, but you still keep it, right? As
Yeah.
the player. So I think we can maybe come
What
up
if we
with, if we want
changed
to do
it
something
from
like
like
that.
tax to like 10% resource accretion?
Yeah, like something like that. Because remember, we had the whole thing of the word tax is not good. You don't
Yeah,
want that,
people get
and that's
upset at
actually
the word
something that's
tax.
exactly because it is immediately perceived as you're taking something from me, right?
Yeah.
And that's actually, and even though if you're not taking that, what I'm saying, like you're not taking 10%, but the word is tax, and that means taking from. So it's just kind of a really negative connotation that I know we've mentioned that they shouldn't have, and it's actually something that is occurring. I would say minorly in Last Oasis. People expect that you're taking 10% resources. That's how it's perceived, and it's not. And they just don't like it. Just straight out. It's just they don't like the fact that they're being taxed, even though it's not really being taxed. It's more so of just supporting. So, and that's what you essentially want. You like some mega alliance. They're providing a service to you by protecting you, allowing you to go in their zones. You know what I'm saying. They're policing. They're creating safety. They're, what I'm saying, inviting you to their Discord, giving you knowledge, mapping stuff, resources, information. Even
Yeah.
community in a sense. And that 10% is incredibly small, for an individual, but it's huge for, a particular mega alliance, especially if they're doing this with many people. But that negative connotation still stands. So I know I have it somewhere in the document saying, donations or something, but we should definitely have a different word. Even if we want to go the same route of tax, I do think that we should put in a different tax solution, of that 10% thing, because that does work. And seeing on how casual Warframe is, we might even want to take that route.
Yeah.
As just an opportunity, you remember resources and all that is the foundation of everything.
Changing the word tax
So
is definitely one of our top objectives. I know a few minutes ago I mentioned accretion, and that would go into the factor of what we said earlier about how the resources slowly don't drop as much anymore the more players play on a node. So maybe over time a node will change from 10% accretion to 5% accretion, or even down to 1% accretion.
yeah, that'll be cool. That'll actually work because then the more you play it, the less it'll essentially gain. So then the player would only get 100%.
It's like a
They would just get their
sponge.
resources.
The more
Yeah.
you squeeze the sponge initially, it's going to have a lot of water coming out of it, but then it's going to lose all of the water eventually.
hmm
Then you can
I
just,
think that it should be still based at like 1% though,
all right, that's fine.
or at least like something small, right? Like 4 or 5. Like I don't know. I don't know how large that would really be, depending on the node, of course. But I think that as a tax solution should also be there alongside with what we have, just as giving more options. Um, that image got broken. Very nice. I'm not too sure. Um, so yeah, I'm currently at Reasons for Dark Sectors, and yeah, I'm just kind of touching up whatever. If there's something that I can do, then I'll do it. I'm more so just wanting to get to the point of Scarlet Spear and stuff, because I want to fix that. Oh, and the conflict things. I just want to touch upon that. I saw that we had something called conflict events. I don't really remember why that's there.
Conflict events Like, do we mean like before or after conflicts? I know we were talking about like repair events and
Yeah.
I think it,
It's actually in the events. So you have repair events, natural events, and then conflict events.
yeah, we can take that out.
Oh. No, we never took conflict out because we added that like last week or something. I don't remember what it was about.
Coalescent, do you remember? Oh, right, my mouse is disabled.
Was due to mission types and varying situations that changed battles. I'm not really understanding.
Yeah, so a lot of the like minor ideas that we have that aren't really explained in the document are stuff that we've mentioned, like in a conversation like this, but it was never recorded, and then we immediately forgot what it was after it. We'd be thinking, yeah, it's a great idea, but then we'd forget what that idea was. We'd have the name of it written down,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no description.
Perhaps we can just ask Estali whenever.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sure he'll
something
be
we
back
don't
later.
have still. Something we need to fill in is monetization methods. I don't think we actually wrote anything there, so let me just highlight that. Monopolization breakdown still needs to be read and changed, updated.
Isn't that just the thing that
Yeah,
I ended up sending to Blue?
yeah. I copy pasted it and I removed a couple paragraphs on it that was more directed to him. So it needs to be updated to more represent to what we have now. Just really configuring it, adding, removing, changing. But yeah, I'm just kind of going through it. We still need the dark sector chart, star chart image.
How do we want to make that look like? I mean, of course, that's more of a thing for Coalescent. Coalescent, what would be easiest for you?
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it would need to be like high tech. It could legit just be copy pastes and stuff. It's the idea is to make a UI, really, and just have it, best explain, right?
Okay, how about this? How about this?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I
So,
mean, just do it whichever way you can to just explain how the UI should kind of like work and explain how what the player has to do in a way, or creating a visual so that it distincts the minor nodes and capital nodes, just stuff like that. Who owns it, how to deploy, stuff like that. It's I think it would be pretty. I think it'll be easy. It's just trying to think of how to like how to show it really, and I think just make it simple. I remember we just did it in Paint.
yeah, well, it's just black
We just
lines
drew
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah, just black lines and stuff. Exactly. So if you can make it spicy, that's whatever. As long as it doesn't look super hot doo doo like Paint lines and squiggles. So that's for that. Uh,
Oh, also, Coalescent, I think you were kind of right about the PVE mods thing. I've been noticing some players, or a lot more players, are playing Conclave on PC for the mods.
I saw that they put the augments in it, and I was like, about bloody time. I'm like, the augments. Some of these augments are actually pretty good, and that they're only Conclave exclusive. And when I saw that they did that, I was like, you know what? People might start trying to get those augments. But I mean, once they have the mods, when is it? That's kind of it. You would think that the Conclave Discord, or the people who run the Conclave Discord, be more correct here, would do something and try to
have
organize the
player
herd.
retention.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure if they see a new face and they just send them a link to the Discord. Just copy and paste it. But I don't know. I don't think the moderators on the Conclave Discord don't play Conclave. They just happen to be moderators of the Conclave Discord.
Yeah.
Now the original ones, say what we want about them, but Phase Dragon, Pithra Dragon, they did play Conclave, even if they were jackasses. You updated the Nightwave thing a lot, but we can discuss later. Nightwave thing. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, I can go back to that link.
So, yeah. I'm gonna just keep doing this whenever I can. Hopefully soon TM. Something that I do see highlighted that I probably won't be able to do is capsule node deployment. We said different from minor nodes, and we didn't write anything else. So I know we talked about that, but I don't really remember. But I might be able to just fill in everything else. Oh, and I don't remember what we did for conflict events. We have to ask Tally for that. But yeah, someone's got to go through this. Just edit it, change things, because there are some things that aren't explained very well.
All right.
BG and Roddy, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello. We hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I started using my phone instead of my computer.
Welcome to the speaking lands.
Thank you. So yeah, what are the priorities on the doc so that you don't have to do everything, if that's something that you want to divvy up?
Well,
I mean, it's just reading it, really.
Yeah, we're just reading it through changing some things that are maybe perhaps a little bit too wordy. Perhaps it's very esoteric.
Okay. So just easier on the eyes.
Yeah, we just threw things in there. We just wrote it out, and then some things just don't correspond properly. Like for an instance, yeah. For instance, in the taxation paragraph, we wrote 20%, but then down in in the actual taxation, explaining how it works, we might say 15% or something, right, or 10%. So we just have to make sure everything works together.
All right. And in terms of I feel as though there should be a citation page, as well as I could start on the monetization. I saw a few sections that I could just use real world applications from articles and stuff to back it up, just so.
Go for it.
Yeah, when we're pitching it, that they have actual proof. So on the part of the Scarlet Spear I was looking at before the meeting, the whole thing about being able to use each one individually, there's a huge benefit for asynchronistic play, which is basically the ability to use each other, do whatever you want without relying on anybody else. And it has a lot more profitability than synchronistic play, which is how Scarlet Spear is right now, being able to having to rely on each other. So I'll just probably try to put that article in there.
Yeah.
To start.
I mean, research is perfectly fine. I mean, even if it's just something that you caught that might be helpful just for us to understand and read. Maybe we can apply it somewhere. I think that'll be great.
All right. Yeah, I was researching for the conclave thing, and I was like, this could actually work here as well.
Mhm.
So
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, feel free, dude. I was like, when you said citation, I'm like, all right, so that's how we're gonna get our names in the document. We're gonna citations us.
Yeah, I'm gonna cite myself in all my forum posts I've made about Dark Sectors, some of the epic ones. Not a lot of the cringe ones, but all of the epic ones. Where I write like
yeah,
3,000
probably
words in a post about Dark Sectors.
yeah, bibliography, whatever you want to call it, probably should have been a
Yeah.
better word, but yeah, just so like people are like, oh, where's the proof for this? And you're like, actually, here's people that have actually made money and why this actually works.
Yeah, I think that'll be great, especially for that. Like, if we're gonna go to DE or go to anyone about that, and they'd be like, well, how does it make money? And, because we're pointing it out. That'll be completely great because that is very real world.
It's easy. Like, look at the most played games on the planet. League of Legends, it's PvP. CS:GO, it's PvP. Dota, Overwatch. And they're gonna say, what? It's not gonna appeal to our core market of PvE pussies. And I'm like, so? I mean, they aren't forced to play it.
Yeah.
You're not
What's
scaring
funny
away
though?
your old market. You're just bringing in a new one also.
What's funny though is if you ask a majority of the Warframe players, ask them what other games they play. They'll probably say League of Legends or Smite.
I'm a big
For the
fan of
most part,
Smite.
I've heard Apex so far.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or like you know what I'm saying? Like the big games that are dropping are PvP.
Yeah.
Every single one. Name them. You know what I'm saying? Just name them. Valorant, PvP. Apex, PvP. Modern Warfare, PvP. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the definition of fighting other players because that is what it's fun about. That's what makes it
That's
fun.
what content is. Fucking look at Halo 1, bro. It had 14 maps and 11 guns.
You want to see a game that died really fast? Anthem.
Oh, bro, people were making videos about how there shouldn't be PvP in Anthem, bro. I want to hold on. Do we have the Rhythm bot in this Discord? I want to play one of those videos now. I won't because we're in a meeting, but I might later. Before Anthem came out, people were releasing like a lot of videos saying there shouldn't be PvP in Anthem and how it's gonna make the community toxic.
Yeah, like Destiny has PvP. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these games have PvP. It's accepted, and it's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, people like it. It's the whole idea. That's what it is. You were talking about citing your other posts. There was something I mentioned in one of something in the beginning. Where the hell is it? I'm trying to find it. In one of the in talking about monopolization and like the lack of knowledge problems in the previous system, Ring Snow, who was the leader of ICE, who like organized everything, man was a legend. He was he actually explained everything, how to take a rail. He didn't really go like super in depth like what we're doing, like what I've been saying to you guys, but like something that was kind of not really looked like we didn't really like that he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was enough information that we didn't really like what he did, but it was out there. No one actually listened to him. Mind you, to take a rail, you did need a lot of fight. You know what I'm saying? Need a lot of firepower, and he gave several solutions. His one solution was come over and bring 500 million credits, and the rail is yours.
I guess.
That was one of his solutions, and no, he's not wrong. You'll absolutely take that rail for one rotation.
Yeah,
If you just talked. What?
I was gonna talk about like diplomacy, joining an alliance, or even working together with another alliance.
Yeah, he said there was a thing where it was like if you get big enough and if you're able to manage and take a rail, and then decide to work with us, oh, we'll totally give you a rail. You know what I'm saying?
It's like giving a
We had
fief to
more than what
someone.
we. You know, we had an alliance that we didn't like, but then they were open to work with us, and we flat out gave them 3 rails. They were to be like they were supposed to go like in the next basically the next couple of hours. They were supposed to fight and take them. We were going to just allow them, pass them over. However, they deployed a block on one of our rails prior to those 3 conflicts going under, and they attacked us. They didn't get those rails, and we later found out that they were allied with the enemy network, enemy coalition.
You hate to see it.
Hate to see it, but you know what? If they didn't do that, we would have given them 3 rails. And even if they were allied with the enemies, we basically just gave our enemies 3 rails for free. You know what I'm saying? Diplomacy would have just won them that entirely.
Yeah, but was it diplomacy or was it, something else?
Diplomacy
Well-
is just a really nice way to say lying.
Well, that's what it was. That's what we found out.
Diplomats
So-
travel to other countries and lie. That's their job. Unironically. Sometimes they tell the truth, not often.
So yeah, I'm just scrolling up and down. Yeah, you know what? How you said like working like alone, not having to rely on people. I think that'll really help support our idea of player retention, of just having something to do, having end game, will keep players playing. I think that'll really help support that.
How so? Do we
So
mean
yeah, I think it'll be great.
like working individually to have a greater role playing in the system?
Well, yeah, in a way, yeah. But like you have the idea of you as an individual can do, like you can do something. You don't have to rely on a big, someone else, right? You basically are your own boss, right? You're your own company. You don't have to rely on a big, massive corporation, which is, in other words, an alliance.
So how would we go about implementing that? The only ways that I can think of would, if at all possible, I would find out a way to list who did the top damage to the rail. Which clans, would be a leaderboard and which people. That would make
Well, like even just allowing them to, in other words, do that tax, right? Having that 10% tax where they get 100% and the alliance gets 10%. That could be something. Like they don't necessarily have to rely on each other, right? He's still getting the resources, which then he can then go, possibly even sell it. Holy crap, dude! Well, how about a galactic market, bro? No.
imagine being
Essentially,
able to
then
sell rail resources, dude. That'd be a monopoly.
yeah, no, that would be something. But then you can essentially go to, the dude. How about it though? For the dark sector resources, how about it?
I mean, it's a good monetization method.
No, I'm downright like, wait a second. What it was, we have what, like 6 or 7 or 8 dark sector resources, right? And
Yeah.
we're talking about these credits. We said, oh, you just participate in a fight and you get it. But how about if it comes from that? No one owns it. It's just there. That's how you get your resources, your credits. You just trade in the resources. If an alliance needs it, he can just buy it, just create it. In other words, and the price of it would just keep going up. I guess I don't know. There'd have to be some economics in there, but that's kind of an idea. But anyways, I forgot what I was going to talk about, but yeah.
That's pretty epic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, the individual still gets his resources. He can go to the individual alliance store or whatever. The relay. He still gets all the relay access. Right?
Yeah.
So like he doesn't necessarily have to rely you know, and plus we could also build upon that, right? We have the research, we, you know, the whatever. We can also try and emphasize that.
Good idea.
hmm We can even put something at the bottom saying, you know, what we intend to, you know, grow upon. You know, if we don't feel that it's discussed very well or implemented as well, you know, like I was saying, we can do something in a different iteration, improving upon the deployment system as an example. You can just write that.
Is that the stuff we can individually work on when not in the meetings? I know myself, I've been slacking. I've just been playing Smite. On one hand, you love to play it. On the other hand, you hate to play it.
Oh yeah, just keep in mind, we gotta get this in
And,
by
you know,
May, end of May.
20 days.
I mean, we're still close, but I mean, we're just constantly adding, right? Changing
Yeah.
and stuff, and then not working on it. So just kind of keep that in mind.
Is there any specific reason, or is that not
Oh,
something?
Just we're trying to.
in my
Well, I mean, the
foolishness,
whole we don't want to work on this forever, but
I felt immensely pressured by Nums and Lumi.
oh, that's. I mean, you gave us plenty of time. You gave us like a month and a half or something. It's just we've been not doing anything for that month and a half.
Yeah.
I think last week I think I didn't even say anything because like the time was just completely wasted. But like, yeah. Anyways, I'll read through this when I have time. Which I mean, I have time. You know, I guess now I've been wanting to play some games. No one's online. The servers are trash anyways right now. So
If there is a time to do it when you have nothing going on, you don't have work.
yeah, the time is now. So I'll probably just continue doing this. Just whenever. And if I bump into any problems, then I will let you guys know. But so far, yeah, if we can get monetization in, anything for that, that'll be good. Good reads, good stuff. Image for the Dark Sector star chart, or just images in general for UI, just anything of the sort. Visuals are good. I think that'll be helpful.
Right.
You know, just you could even just have a quick read through, and you're like, can we make this a visual? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to just limit you to, you know, just one thing or one or two things. Like, you know, look at something, you know, be like, yeah, you know what, that can be an image. It's basically what we did for the armistice period. We were like, you know, can we make this like a visual? Because it's kind of hard to explain with words. So, no, we
Like-
just, you know, just
like
something,
the
right?
screenshot that I made of all the resources put together. And it kind
Oh
of
yeah, you have your comprehensive resource thing. Did that ever come in? I don't think that's here yet.
the comprehensive resource what?
Like you were talking a lot about resources.
Yeah. So I spent some.
Okay.
I posted them even actually in Dark Sector Creative Projects.
Dark Sector Creative Projects.
Of you know, putting the UI together for a solar
Oh
realm.
yeah.
Or for the deployment or the construction thereof, I mean.
Yeah.
And then, you know, see there's a scroll bar on the right.
Yeah.
It's actually
Yeah,
not
just
a
something
scroll
like
bar.
that.
That was just a really shitty JS Paint screenshot. So it's actually white there because that's the background of JS Paint. But it kind of looks like a scroll bar, so. So, did I ever end up sending you guys the document for the Dark Sector resources? Because I have that in a tab open right now.
I don't think so.
I think I came up with 4 of them. So, what do you think of this number? What do you think of this number? 8 capital nodes with 6 minor nodes attached to each one.
Oh, I also had a thought. I'm like, what if we actually? It would probably screw up the relay system. But I mean, at that point, what if we just had like a universal relay?
For dark sectors?
That was my thought. But what if, yeah, like a dark sector relay? Just one.
What would the purpose of that be?
Or like maybe only one of them, or like 3 of them or something, right? Only a certain amount instead of all of them, right? Because then DE would have a better time with servers, and then it would also make a capital node more, just in general, more unique. But then that means we can add more capital nodes, right? And potentially even less minor nodes, and then make capital nodes an actual like fight, like a mission. Sorry, like a PvE mission.
I mean,
So in other words, what I'm saying is you have say like 10, or you have like 15 capital nodes and 10 capital nodes and 6 minor nodes for each of them, right? What if we had 40 capital nodes with 2 minor nodes to them, or you know what I'm saying? Just 2, something really small, and then we can have something that's more alliance based with a minor clan base instead of it being more, as of current, more clan and one alliance. We can now flip that and have more clan with less, more alliance with less clan, and then we can make you know what I'm saying. Perhaps we could observe it that way.
So
something actually that I can build upon that. I just had the thought. In Last Oasis, they have the whole mega tribe, right, and problem, and that's something that I'm sure you've heard of in many different games like Ark and stuff, and Alice, whatever. You have these big Zergs, Rust, even. You have the big Chinese Zergs, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
no.
Yeah.
No.
I do.
Okay, well,
I've heard
basically,
of Chinese people just always being in large numbers.
have you played Rust?
No.
Oh my god.
If it's not on Xbox and it's not StarCraft, I haven't played it.
You've played Ark Survival.
Yeah, it's on Xbox.
Yeah, that's on Xbox.
I've seen
Do you know of it? Have you seen like it? You know how like the game kind of works a little bit?
Yeah, I've got like 200 hours in it.
Yeah, you like build a base and you get some dinosaurs and stuff. Takes a long time.
I never did any of that. I just turned my oxygen all the way up and I punched fish.
Easy. Well, basically the Chinese, right? They would come in your server with like 1,000 guys and basically just punch your house down. Made out of concrete, dude? Dude, they'll Doctor Who punch that, bro. It doesn't matter how many times you kill them, they'll respawn and come back with another guy. And they'll just punch your house out, dude. It doesn't matter if it takes 7 days. It doesn't matter if it takes like 15 days. They will be attacking you 24/7. And if you screw up, they take you, dude. They'll do the worst, man. They'll capture you. They'll feed you. They'll lock you up. You'll never play the game. You'll never see the light of day. Basically, just uninstall. That's what they'll do to you. And that's a problem with, these games where you have these mega tribes or mega alliances or something. It's example of the Warframe Monopoly. You have too much players. So what Last Oasis is doing, in other words, think of it this way. In Last Oasis, you're driving a ship, right? With maybe like you're just 5 guys, you're driving around, it's good. And then you just see a little, 2 or 3 or 7 freaking boats, or whatever, ships coming over the horizon with like 70 people. You're like, how do you fight that? You know what I'm saying? So how they're addressing it is they're creating a zone or a tile. In other words, a dark sector that is limited to only clans. I don't know, we talked about that. I don't think it'll work, but it's actually something that they're doing, so we could actually look at how they're going to do it, how it turns out.
Do they have a number limit on their clans, though?
So what it is that any clan with less than like 5 players, or I think 10 players, can enter. So a mega alliance would essentially have to kick out 10 players, and those 10 players join together and then go in. And they can maybe do that like 3 or 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's still ways that we can be like, it's probably scuffed. Like, mega alliances can still own everything, right? But at that point, you'd be like, is the resource gain and the time worth it? Right?
Yeah.
Because it would still require the same amount of resources to take. It's just, it won't generate as much. And you're still going to have to defend it the same amount of time. So they'd rather go and take a node that's more valuable, which is like a regular Mega Alliance node or whatever. So, I don't know, depending on the game population, right, that might fail. It might just fail in general, so it's something to observe.
So, you don't think a tiered clan system would work? Or a tiered alliance system?
You mean like having, like, what do you mean tiered alliance?
Like only certain amount of capital nodes and minor nodes per like clan size in alliance.
Don't go clan size, honestly trash. I wouldn't, like, I don't know,
There are
the
moon
clan
clans
size
that have 20 people in them, and they think it's okay. They refuse to downsize.
Yeah, I like the clan size system is really bad. Just in my opinion. Like, I don't think we should base off of it. It's just really bad.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about the syndicate inclusivity and to have other options besides just going into like New Loco or something.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a small clan or like an individual.
Perhaps, I don't know. I think when we're all done with everything, like everything's good, like we're done. I think that's like at the problems or the things that we want to add, like stuff. I think once we're done, we'll look at what we can add and improve and stuff. I just wrote it at the very bottom, syndicate, like including syndicates. I mean, we wanted to do that in the beginning, but I think we just never like added it.
Yeah,
so
we wanted to do it as like a resource you could acquire from standing, and then you can use basically a way to dump syndicates. As of now, once you have everything from a syndicate, there's really no reason to continue doing the syndicate missions unless you want to open relics.
Perhaps, and we have these other things where you're mentioning, which are amazing, actually. Including solo player impact. You know what I'm saying? You want to have the individual player doing something, because that makes the money, right? I think we could even, tie something together like that. So, I think like just of how the document is now and the stage that we're at, I think we just fill in the blanks, just fill it with what we have, because we've pretty much filled everything to an extent. It's just making it full, complete, and then we'll look over it and be like, okay, you know what can we add now? Right? If we have an idea, write it in what we plan to improve on or whatever, attempt to include. But yeah. Because I want to get this done and over with, right? Summer's coming around. We're gonna get the weekend, right? And Corona's kind of still happening, so a lot of people are gonna be inside or outside playing, and then they're gonna come inside because they don't like the heat, because they're gonna be big sad.
It's already like that here in Louisiana. I mowed my front lawn about halfway, and then I was like, oh no, I had to go back inside. It was too hot.
Yeah, and you have the whole thing of summer, right, where you're like, man, I want to go back to school or something, right? Because there's just nothing to do. I want to go back to work because there's nothing to do, no human interactions. I've watched all my Netflix movies, right? So, I think we should definitely start trying to push this.
Yep.
I don't know. It's so far every single time that we've held it, it's been a good time to push it. More so, I would say more so starting to focus on how we start shipping it around. So I just want to try and complete this
Did I
and
send you
then
the?
see what people say.
I know you asked me to do it, to write down a concrete plan for what we intend to do with it once we're finished, and I think it's always
You didn't
been.
have to write it down, but
I think it's all. I did write it down, but I think it's always been relatively simple. We send it to Blue or whatever. We hopefully get his blessing.
if Blue says yes, like he'll give us something, then like that'll be great, because he already has the connections to certain YouTubers and stuff. But we shouldn't just stop there. What other connections does he have we can use? Or whatever connections he has we use. Whatever other extended connections that we could possibly get into, we definitely use. And then
We can go into
what if a YouTuber knows
YouTubers'
of somebody?
Discords and send them the document and be like, hey, you might want to check this out for a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to still talk to Sal. Or sorry, Ross Steele. I haven't talked to the network about it. There's plenty of stuff that we can do. I'm not too worried about it. It's more so just sitting down and being like, okay, so here's the game plan. I'm gonna go do this. You're gonna go do that, and we're gonna basically just get into communications and then create a date, right? We would create a date of when we want to, basically ship it, launch it. Like, do we want to make a forum post, for instance? I can be like, let's go make a forum post. We're going to put it up at this date. And then we're going to, contact everyone. We're going to have a small meeting or something, for example. Like when it's time to just drop the bomb, we're going to basically just press a button, come in the server at 1 or whatever, press a button and just launch it to every single player being like, we're going to drop it right now. Or like, give them a little bit head advance, advanced start or whatever, being like, yeah, it's gonna happen in an hour. We have it preloaded and everything, and then as soon as the time hits, we're clicking it, and we're gonna be like, go in there and put a comment, make this thing a hot topic or something, right?
Yeah.
Drop the videos and stuff, like make it come in as a wave. And then we need to discuss what we do next, right?
In terms of sustaining it, or
Exactly.
okay.
Is it do we just keep working on it? Do we actually work on it now or something, or the next iteration or something? Take what feedback we have in the silence and then start working on it and then push it while we're like halfway through. You know what I'm saying? Basically what movie people do, right?
I guess. I definitely think that having a plan to expand it as much as possible, making that as early as possible is optimum.
Yeah.
Because usually when people don't plan to expand, it kind of, doesn't end that well. Like you end up
You need to
at
have a game
certain-
plan.
Yeah. So
So-
definitely, not just limiting it to Warframe people, at the very least.
Yeah, even
people
that.
Pardon?
Yeah, I'm just saying for sure. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So the other types of games that are, into this type of gameplay, market to those people as well. When the time comes and when it's polished enough. It doesn't have to be, massive YouTubers at first, just like small communities and then expand.
I have connections, and I'm not really that proud of it. But I do have an extended connection to the YouTubers of Anthem. Right, they're suffering kind of a similar problem, but I mean, I could at least talk to them, and perhaps their YouTubers would be like, hey, there's a game that Warframe, these guys have done something. They're trying to do something. You know what I'm saying? And this is, they're trying to do it. Can we get this done with Anthem? And Anthem devs, look at this. Look at what these guys are doing. And these are by the way, these are the big ones. Like, it's like the Anthem guy. I think that's what his name is. The Anthem guy.
Yeah, I'm adding on to the monopolization breakdown right now.
Timbo, yeah. Is it Anthem Gaming? I can't remember. Your Anthem, that's who it is. Your Anthem. So, I mean, just reaching out to all these things would be amazing. Plus, remember, we will have hopefully we can get Gilded Phoenix. Hopefully we can get the network. That's just a large mass of people. It's just getting every individual to know about it is going to be difficult, right? Even from me, you know what I'm saying? Like at this point, I don't know all the warlords. At this point of the game, before I did, I can just go to every single warlord. They knew who I was. I had that kind of connections with it, but not anymore. I don't know everyone, so it's going to be difficult. So I'm excited for it. It's just I just really want to get this complete so we can start talking more about that in depth and actually doing something about it. Because I mean, every single time, even now, we're talking about it, but we're not at that stage to do it.
I mean, the more you have planned, the easier it'll be.
Yeah.
Down the line. Also, I need editing access to be able to put these links.
Oh yeah, so do you have an email I can send it to?
This one.
Preferably Gmail. It's kind of hard to work with Hotmails.
I'll just send it to you right now.
And as well as even talking to some Twitch people about it, right? Yeah, like it'll take time. Like it'll take time to organize all of this. Like I would say even 2 weeks at least.
Just send me your Gmail real quick, and I can email you a link where you can edit.
Yeah, like we're still very far from that.
It's probably just better to do it. Like I was trying to find your DM specifically, but okay. But yeah, I've been trying to connect with a lot of the partners, at least in the past month or so, and the YouTube people on Twitch, and they're generally more positive than everywhere else.
I think Twitch people, their player base is really small, but I mean working with them, I think would be great. Just even talking to them in general, just going into their chat because they're so small. There's very little support. Just asking them a question would get them excited.
Yeah, I ended up talking to Mogamu. This man had 40 people in his chat, and I was like, okay, that's fine. But
that's crazy. Yeah, Mogamu was one of the people that actually played Solar Rails.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the only YouTuber back then, I'm telling you. I didn't know any other YouTuber. He was the only one that I knew. He was the only guy that I actually I didn't like him, dude. I didn't like him. He sucked, dude. And then Tactical Potatoes came in. That was the next guy. Do I know anyone else? No. iFlynn's
pretty casual, but you might like the idea.
Took me there to get. It took a while to get there, I'm like, what's his name? It's like iFly or something. But yeah, I think when we get there, we start trying to talk to people. We start getting some connections and a plan going, and we launch it.
Yeah, because a lot of design people as well is my main source of connections that I have. If you need any other things,
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
To be huh?
Yeah, when the time comes, right? We'll have her advertising meeting or whatever, a marketing meeting, strategy, stuff like that. So when the time comes, because like I said, we're not there yet. We're definitely not there yet. I know we had so much that we can discuss, power, connections, just all of that. How much that we can, you know what I'm saying? There's so much. So it's just gonna come down, at the end. It all happens at the end when this is done and completed. So when we get there, we'll get there. It's just I want to complete this as soon as we can because we're starting to take a little long. Yeah.
How long have y'all been working on this? Since like last
Since the beginning of the year.
I mean, I've kind of been working on this since 2015.
Yeah, Repo's been fighting the good fight. He was he was preaching the word of dark sectors, and I'm like, okay, this guy actually is preaching, and he's doing well. He's pretty close to what he's like. He's pretty much bang on, and I'm like, I wonder who he is. And then what? You started talking to me or something?
I was like, oh man, this dude's Stormfighter, and I thought he's a fucking genius. Let me get in touch with this guy. Because everyone up to that point on the forums that I came across was anti-dark sectors, bro. I felt like a straight up knight inside of a goblin hive, just fucking hacking and whacking.
Yeah, dude. You're in the goblin cave, dude.
And then I look to my left and I see another Chad Knight out there, just flexing, hacking and whacking and slashing.
Yeah, and occasionally I would go on the forums, right? And I would see Repo, and I'll be like, still fighting the good fight, huh? You know? So, just something like that. And then we're working on this thing beginning of this year. So, yeah, Repo worked on, I think, like 2 documents or something, a couple of them. And I've looked at them, but I don't really know how far they've really gone. Not far, just, assuming.
One got very far, but I like honestly, instead of doing this one from the ground up, we could have just worked on that one. That would have, because
maybe.
That one was actually really verbose in terms of resources, and I talked a lot about the community's view on solar rails and how it wasn't as awful as they think it is, but because there are so few people that have positive things. The solar rail players are too busy playing the game rather than talking about it on the forums.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said the other day, right? I'm like, I've learned that the casual and the competitive player base. Here's the ones that go on the forums are the casuals. The competitive players are the ones playing the game. Casuals complain, the competitive play. And then on the forums, in the feedback section, the casual player with all the other casuals make a vote to remove the casual play. And then they get majority vote. Even though it's only comprised of casual players. The competitive players don't get to vote because they're busy playing the game, having fun. And then the competitive aspect gets removed. All the competitive players leave. And now the game's all casual. It's exactly what happened.
The casual player leaves anyway, regardless of outcome.
I'm like, that's exactly what happens. For instance, right?
Remember when they did that Twitter poll about PvP?
I talked about it. How I talked about it yesterday was with the gun thing, just so you know, Lesson. In Canada, they banned a bunch of guns. Assault rifles and stuff. And it's because there was a shooting, right, over in one of the provinces. However, the gun that was used was illegal. It wasn't allowed in the country. It wasn't registered with us. It came from somewhere else, right? It's basically me going into the country with, an MK16 or what I'm saying, like a big massive machine gun or something, and just blowing everyone's head off, and then Canada bans firearms from being sold. You know what I'm saying? Like, that gun didn't come from Canada. So why are you preventing us from, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna go ban a handgun because someone blew someone's head off with a machine gun from the United States. It doesn't really make much sense, but, it's the same idea. The casual players are the ones voting on it. And it gets majority vote, because that's how democracy works. It sucks. But it's the best we got. Want communism?
If there was a dark sector thread, I was on it. There was always at least one person that had a positive view on dark sector threads. I made sure of that.
Yeah, if there was a dark sector thread and I saw it, I usually look at it.
I may have been the only one posting on it that had a positive view on it, but I was Man, I did so much arguing back in the day. I was fired up.
I know, I saw it, dude. I'm like, still fighting the good fights.
People caught these words. They didn't catch the hands as much as I wanted to give them the hands. They caught the words instead.
Yeah, I was also looking at this interview about the Amazing Eternals. I'm sure y'all have heard of that, right? Or no?
We have, that was at
Just the game?
2016 or
Yeah,
2017
like
TennoCon.
2017, yeah.
That was right when
And
Planes of Eidolon was announced.
yeah, so basically, they were busy doing that, and apparently they had blamed lawbreakers of all things for the issue of them not doing well, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I don't see how that can parallel. But the thing was, they said that they had taken a chunk out of their team, and they were doing Amazing Eternals. And at the same time, like you were saying, they did Planes of Eidolon, and it was their most successful thing. So looking at a lot of people that are like, oh, dev, team, like all of the allocations and all that, the focus being taken off of PVE is gonna make it worse, and that just has been proven to not be the case because they made their best work when they had a very divided team.
That is true. I will say this about Amazing Eternals and DE. I think DE feels trapped with Warframe.
Yeah.
They don't make enough money with Warframe to expand their team to work on other projects. So if they work on other projects that pulls people away from Warframe, that's less content for Warframe, Warframe makes even less money.
Well, I mean, that's everything, right? That's just how games are.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know if they necessarily made less money in that, in that amount of time because of what the results were.
Oh, I'm not
But
saying like around the time of the Amazing Eternals. I'm talking about like from 2017 onwards. They haven't been making
yeah,
as much money.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to like show to them, that using their PvP side of things is gonna, let them have a lot more wiggle room for anything else that they want to do. So in that same article that I just linked, like I put it at the very bottom of the doc and I put it underneath the Scarlet Spear, like the yellow highlights. The main thing, the basic title of it is PvP can increase your game revenue by 510%. And it goes into a bunch of different game modes and styles and comparisons. Obviously, like I have to get a few more resources besides that one article just to make it more solid. But sending stuff to them like that, giving them a reason to, still include those things so that they can still, make money and survive instead of, just listening to knee-jerk reactions all the time.
And it's actually weird if you think about it. Conclave isn't actually as hated as many of the community would like you to believe.
Yeah, it's just a few people. Like, I'll go on to, I don't know, like YouTube, it's like, it's okay, but like Twitch is, like, I feel is the nicest. Like, they'll just, at the most, they'll do the meme, like the all caps, the conclave, and that's usually as worse as it'll get. But, yeah, it's definitely not as bad as just the vocal minority. Yeah, like I talked to this newer partner, and she was like, I've never played this before, but it sounds dope. So, I was like, hopefully, getting people to play these things more often. Like Rev, she played with Loxian a while ago. Like I think there was some stuff in this Discord about it. Just having that stuff be more regular, and then hopefully that helps with everything else in terms of dark sectors and all that. Like probably, I don't know. I would hope that the Nightwave thing would come out before the dark sector thing, just because season 3 is just now starting, like tomorrow, hopefully. But yeah, because how I want to be able to monetize that will hopefully tie in to how you can monetize dark sector.
Alright, well, I think I'm gonna head back to BG, because we've been in here for a couple of hours now. Probably the longest meeting yet.
Yeah.
Alright.
Bro, are you going to? Sorry for going in. Are you going to come to the meeting if I hold a conclave one or no?
Yeah, when you ping it, yeah, I'll be there. Yeah,
Okay.
just put the time in
Just
the chat.
you
I
or
hope.
not? BG.
I probably won't come.
Alright.
I mean, if it's like I might come for the first one just to see. I mean, if you really want me there, I'll come for the first one, but I'm not a regular thing.
Okay. Because I was gonna do it yesterday, and I was like, I don't have my mic, and then I just figured it out. So I'll probably try to do it tomorrow.
Try to give like a day's notice in advance. Try to give like a day's notice in advance of the meeting.
So
just tell people a day in advance when it's gonna be.
So if I told them tomorrow night, or no?
So a lot of the people in this, the reason I hold the meetings such early in the day, like right now, 12, 1 p.m., whatever, is because most of the people in the server are EU. Esdail EU, Controlo, Degu, Guanox, Sevek, like,
so
a good...
It's 3 where I am right now, 3 p.m.
Yeah, so we're Eastern.
I don't know if it would be the best to... if it will still be available to see it if I hold one tomorrow.
If you held one tomorrow, you would have to do it in like the middle of the day for you if you wanted a lot of the other people to show up.
Alright.
Try not to put it too early because I'm probably going to end up staying up till 6 a.m. playing ranked Joust again. We won more games than we lost, but we actually lost our MMR.
Alright, well, I wish you the best of luck with the conclave thing. It's a lot of work, but maybe possibly potentially more obtainable than dark sectors.
We shall see.
But yeah, we'll definitely see.
Right,
remember, there's still a big presence to it, to conclave. I would say you have the conclave Discord. You have a whole lot more people willing to voice the conclave, right? I just look on the right side, and there's very big names here. And they've already tried to do it in their ways, so there's plenty more resources from dark sectors. Conclave is actually a thing right now and has been a thing since, whereas dark sectors isn't. So you'll definitely have, I would say, a lot more success with conclave. It's just gonna be more critical. I would say, in my opinion, it would be more critical with what you do with it, because you certainly can do something with it. Like it's malleable right now.
Or just because the augments?
Not even. Like, Conclave has so many different things about it, right? You want to implement PvP. And we even talked about that in Dark Sector 1. PvP is very, I don't know the word. It's a pretty dodgy topic, right? Because you have the casual players, right? And I wouldn't even say the idea is to incorporate everyone, especially for Conclave. You would get a good amount of people, but you don't want to target everyone,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because then it won't work. So, as well as Conclave has never ever been something that's like big, right? I wouldn't even say big. It wasn't necessarily something that was really content rich. It was just more so of a mini game or something on the side. That's how it always was. So you can you can make it a little bit bigger, of course, but I've been saying for a while, you can advertise Conclave right now, however much you want. You can get people to try it. You can get people to play it once in a while, but they won't stay and they won't like it. Even we talk about the players. They're like they trash talk Conclave and they don't play it. Well, even if they played it, they probably won't like it. Most case, and that's just because of how the gameplay is, just in general. And I was telling Repo this. You have a similar thing where the player, if he can't aim or if he can't do anything, right? They're not told how to play Warframe essentially while playing Warframe, so they're to their own devices. So if you play against someone like an actual Conclaver, they're technically vulnerable against that player. That player will do no damage. They'll feel no progression. They'll feel absolutely just getting trashed wrecked over and over and over again. There'll be no rewarding, chemicals in their brain to continue playing. They'll have no fun. So I'm like, it's this whole thing. They won't even want to learn to play Conclave, right? Because it's too much work, and people can't do that because they go to work, they go to school, they don't, or they play other games, right? They play, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you want to kind of have a good level of who's your target audience is, because you can't get everyone. I don't believe you can get everyone for Conclave. But it's going to need a complete overhaul.
Yeah, the main things to start is just accessibility and tutorials. Like I don't know if you saw the video where I looked at like the TLDR in the comments, but it was basically pretty in depth.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'll just
perhaps
send a screenshot.
Perhaps to enter the Conclave, you have to, you know what I'm saying? I like this whole idea of quests. Saying, or who said it? Somebody said it. Roxel said it. I think he said having quests, even if they're short, is what teaches the players at this point. It is what teaches them. And because we're not adding quests for basically the same principle, because we're not adding quests, people don't learn, right? So I'm like, perhaps if you want to enter Conclave, right, have it grayed out, right, as an individual, as a new player, and you can implement this for every single person just as an outright, even if you're good, and you play Conclave, just everyone gets it for it to unlock. You just click the button and it says, do you want to start the Conclave quest or something? Or, do you want to enter the Conclave as like a Conclave guild? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it can even be like it can be a mission, right? Of just teaching them how to move, essentially.
Yeah.
It's just something basic as that. Just advanced movement. I think that'll help.
Make it a challenging parkour test. Not necessarily challenging, but like make them think outside of the box a little bit more than their typical just bullet jumps.
I would agree. I completely agree. If they can't figure it out, they'll sit there and be like, wow, this is hard, this is challenging. They'll get that idea, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to go straight to YouTube, and you know what the YouTubers are going to do? They're going to show them how to do it.
And they'll still be learning by watching the YouTubers.
They'll still rely on the YouTubers, there's still community, they'll still see things, they'll learn, they'll start researching. And it won't even be like hot doo-doo research, you know what I'm saying? Because you still have to complete it. Unless there's a way of just cheesing it, but somebody came up to me like a year ago, and they said, how do you bullet jump? And I'm like, you don't know how to bullet jump, bro? You played this game for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I've just been running. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I hate to see it. I see it.
I know, dude.
Every day when I go in and I try to show them like real quick. I'm like, before we start, Because I see you're doing some real
Yeah, no, I do that all the time
You're
now.
out there
It's actually got to the
penguin
point where it's so bad. Like, people won't slide anymore. People don't bullet. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? They don't slide. They don't bullet jump. There's
Which is
there's nothing.
fucking
I don't
crazy.
expect them to do animation cancels and momentum cancels, but like, they'll at least slide while running. At least a bullet jump. It's faster than just holding shift.
You know what the craziest part is? The craziest part is that DE is adding more parkour intensive maps. Like Jupiter.
No, I love
Yeah.
Jupiter. It's so good.
That's hilarious.
And I'm
But
like, how do you
you know what I'm saying?
people create? How do you people use Jupiter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll be great, just as an introductory, as well as the old conclavers would be fine with it. The YouTubers can get something out of it. I think that'll just be good because it'll set standards, it'll teach stuff like that.
Yeah, I was
Um,
thinking of that, but also like just in general, something for like every mission to put in, like the more dead parts of the missions, like say like the extraction or like the ship thing. So just something to practice and
Oh yeah,
incentivize
that'll be cool.
parkour. So like say like Flora's lava excavation. This is or like extraction. Just random things like that to help you practice
Yeah.
every time, so that you can actually get better.
Well, I don't know. The floor's lava thing, I don't know if that'll be like if the floor's actually like damaging you. Like, they have the electric things in the water, right? Everyone just runs through it.
Yeah.
But no, I completely agree. Like, having something at extraction, or just having some parkour kind of thing. They have the obstacle course, right? And they have the player obstacle courses. Perhaps it might even be a good idea to suggest, how they have the dojo thing. What if there was a preset one, or not even preset one, like ones where they can like download or something, or they can upload it from like popular picks. I don't know.
You played Rocket League or no?
No.
They have something like that, so you can go into the basic training. Just in general for like shots, like goalie, whatever, free play.
Yeah.
And then they have like the custom, and the custom is like all of the different things that everybody's created, and then they have the most popular stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely really cool.
I think that could be pretty dope.
Yeah.
People
Conclave
ask to
should
put
have
in
had
like
custom
decorations
rooms
to make
for
an
a while
obstacle
ago.
course in the dojo all the time. Like, I got one the other day. Like, I can like screen. I can tell you what day it was. It was like maybe 4 days ago. Let me find it.
Wait, can't you make custom obstacle courses now? Like, didn't they add that back in 2018?
Yeah, they did, but like nobody does anything with them. Because like it's so much effort just to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not convenient, and it's huge. The room is ginormous. So, yeah, I think just small things like that could be done, especially if it's like small, but large in a sense where it's gonna add more to the game just everywhere. It touches the whole entire game, but in a minor way. I think that'll be fine. It's not too much to ask for.
That's the BG I sent. I put
Yeah.
in the conclave discussion. I don't know if you saw it. Just
Yeah, I see it. But yeah, like I still do think like Conclave, it could be changed. It is possible. It is doable. It's there, right? It's still here. They will work with it. We've seen that they're doing things with Conclave. It's still in their mind, and it's malleable, right? Anyone can come, with enough strength and power to push it and bend it and manipulate it. It's just, how do you do it, right? If you push it too much, it busts or it breaks, and then it's to the point of no return. So that's what I'm saying. Conclave is going to be a little bit more of a scarier task because if Dark Sector fails, it just doesn't come. Whatever, big deal, big sad. If Conclave breaks, well, now there's somebody to blame.
You remove
And
all PvP from Warframe.
Remove all PvP from Warframe, exactly.
Which
so it is a pretty, I would say a really big task, more than Dark Sectors. More than what's happening here. You have to be very careful with. Yes, it is. Plus, you know, I just wanna. It's got to be completely overhauled. Like, it's got to be changed. A lot of it has to be changed because players cannot play that. As much as great as it is, as mini game as much as it is, players just don't. They don't like it.
I mean, I just don't think that it should be pitched to the people that are, regulars. Like, they're already coming out with, like, more easy modes.
Oh yeah, I know, dude, I know. But like, well, then who are you trying to, who are you trying to play or get in? The competitive players, they don't exist. You know what I'm saying?
Not necessarily competitive, but like at the very least, like PvP players, arena shooter players, like I have to be very careful because I've been looking at which groups are more toxic than others, and I was like, oh, I could invite the Quake people, and I was like, Quake seems a bit more toxic than most of the other ones that I've seen so far. So,
well, I don't know. The toxicity, yeah, that toxicity is a pretty big topic. I'll agree. But I don't know. Depends on how you tackle it. I can say a whole bunch of crap about that, but it'll be really hard to address that. They try to do it in Overwatch, doesn't work.
Yeah, I definitely think that PvE can teach, like, really subtly, like, how to play PvP, but they just haven't implemented it. Like, they're one of the few companies that are really easily set up to be able to successfully do both.
Yeah. Alright, well, I'm gonna head back over. But I wish y'all's the best of luck with the Conclave thing. It's gonna be rough and tough. So yeah, if you need me for it, just let me know. But I don't want to add any more to my plate. I'm not really too involved in Conclave, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm actually banned from the Conclave Discord. As a matter of fact.
Yeah. On multiple occasions.
On multiple accounts.
Yeah. Yeah, like, to me, Conclave was taken over by the dragons, and it was made pretty big sad. And for me, as like a clan, and who does clan things, I'm here for the dark sectors. That's why my clan was here. Conclave won't help me as a clan and community. So, it's not really of my interest.
Disconnect.
You know?
But I was basically saying, like, in the Karate Kid, they have the guy, and he's painting the walls, and he's like, why am I painting these walls? And then he goes to the to the championships, and he goes to fight all these people. And he's like, man, I can block these shots.
Mm-hmm.
And just having the PVE subconsciously teaching you how to play PvP, I think, is something that is fairly easily gained if they want to do it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I think that'll just something like that would be a really good way to explain things because everyone's seen the Karate Kids, right? Or at least one of them, right? And just Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off, and now he's a karate master. I think that'll be a really good. I'm trying to go around the word because I don't remember what it is. Is it illusion? I don't think it's illusion. Analogy. I'm like, it starts with a freaking A. It'll be a good analogy. That is the exact word I wanted. I'm like, it's not illusion, but it's like that.
Yeah.
All right. I think that'll be a powerful one. Like, because everyone knows that one. Anyways, I gotta go to Costco out in the world of Corona, so I'll see you guys around.
Be safe.
See ya.
All right. Largo.
Hey.
Yeah, if you want to look at this,
Can
the
you
Nightwave theory.
resend it to me in a DM?
All right.
And my mouse is disabled. It's kind of hard using this flat pad.
I see. Well, you said you're on an iPad?
No, I'm on my laptop, but it's using the trackpad.
Oh, I see. Share. Yes. All right. Also, for now, I want to call it Fight Wave.
Wonder if did it take Just Cause 4 off of Game Pass?
I don't know. I'm on
I'm gonna have to
PS4.
open up a new tab. I hate using this trackpad. I promise I'm gonna open up your thing as the very next thing. But I just saw that I couldn't play Just Cause 4 for a moment. Oh yeah, Just Cause 4 left Game Pass. Damn. That's a big sad moment. Gotta press up on the mouse. This keyboard doesn't really go up. There we go.
Hello?
Opened it up.
Oh, you got it. So yeah, I added a bit to the dailies, weeklies, the elite weeklies. I don't want to call it elite weekly just
I would
because people already.
for the 1,000 daily, I would take out look for a PvP match in recruiting chat because that how would they measure that?
To look for a PvP match.
Yeah.
I still want to keep it.
I'm looking at everything else. Everything else is fine. It looks like it's completely measurable.
Just because they have the other things like the place a glyph, use an emote.
Yeah, but those are measurable. Those are an actual action you do. When you say look for a group in recruiting chat or for PvP, what words would you put to cause that to be completed?
I don't know, like LF PvP match.
And would it just be that? How would it be obvious to the player for him to do that? It's that's one thing that can be taken up to a lot of people wouldn't necessarily know what to do. Let me see.
Yeah.
All right, did I stop recording with OBS? Yeah, let me stop recording.